Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so happy to have you here today. My name is Amanda and today I'm going to be sharing with you some fall DIYs. If you like the content you see today and you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. Also, giving me a big thumbs up really helps me out here on YouTube. So I'm just showing you a brief overview of the items that we are going to be making today. And with all of that being said, let's jump right into it. So here is an idea for you. You can grab one of those little seasonal gift boxes from Dollar Tree and make two crafts. So I have one of those boxes. I have a tag from Dollar Tree and some Jenga blocks. What I'm going to do is flip my tag over. I'm going to remove the hanger at the top and I'm going to paint my tag with Waverly Elephant chalk paint. Setting that aside, I am going to cut the front off of my box using an X-Acto knife. This box has an image on either side. Then I'm going to remove the hanger of the box and I am going to glue some Jenga blocks to the inside of my box. This will give me a bigger surface to adhere to my tag sign. So I just glue on 5 Jenga blocks with hot glue and then I apply some hot glue to the outside of each block. I flip this over and glue it down to my tag sign. When that is done, I replace the hanger at the top of my tag sign. I then put some floral foam inside of this box and then I am ready to put some gorgeous florals from Dollar Tree in there. I just clip everything down and one by one I insert the flowers. I like to do the larger ones first and then fill in with some smaller flowers. And then at the end, I'm going to add some greenery that can be found at Walmart for about 98 cents, I believe. And I think this is just so pretty, so easy. And we still have the other side of that box to create another DIY. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this one down below in the comments. And now let's jump right into our next idea. So our next idea is using the other piece of that box and a cutting board sign from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to take this cutting board and I'm going to remove the image on the top with a flat tool from Dollar Tree, just sliding it under and then pulling the top image off. It does rip the paper a little bit, but I just go ahead and place that paper back down. And then I'm going to take this image from the other side of our gift box and I'm going to glue it right down on top of where the other image was. And then I'm going to take some of this crochet lace from Dollar Tree and I'm going to use it to frame out my image and clean up my edges. I am just going to cut each piece separately so that I have more control in making sure that this is straight and that my edges look nice. Once I am done with that, I'm going to take a remaining piece of lace and use it to tie through the hole at the top of the handle as a coordinating hanger. Once I am done with that, I do have a spare piece of lace in my stash. I'm not quite sure where it came from, but it's just one of those odds and ends, and I had just enough to fold over either side and create a small bow. I'm using a piece of Dollar Tree macrame cord to tightly tie the middle. I am then going to trim off any excess and glue this to my cutting board right at the bottom of that handle. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to embellish with some Dollar Tree items. I'm going to take some spare greenery from my stash and then I am going to pop a Dollar Tree pumpkin in the middle of my bow. And also, I have some beautiful tiny miniature little florals from Dollar Tree that I feel like bring out the colors of this image very nicely. I'm going to tuck those on either side and a teeny tiny Dollar Tree miniature pumpkin on either side. And here is what this gorgeous cutting board looks like, quick and easy on a budget. Okay, guys, let's talk about today's challenge. It's hosted by my friend Tammy at the Rested Willow and my friend Ellie from DIY from House to Home. Their guest host this month is Krista's Crafty Life. All of these ladies are extremely talented. I enjoy their channel content myself, and I believe you will as well. So I will have their channels linked below in my description box, as well as the playlist for this awesome challenge so you can get tons of inspiration. With all of that being said, I have another idea for you. I created this absolutely gorgeous wreath, but there are Dollar Tree options. You could use a hula hoop, a wire wreath form, or one of these styrofoam if you want a smaller wreath. So I was actually given this humongous wooden wreath form, but I believe you could find something like this at a thrift store as well, or a yard sale. And I got this bag of potpourri from Hobby Lobby at 50% off. It was $10. I know Dollar Tree does have potpourri as well, so there's an option. I got these little corns from Hobby Lobby and these corn husks as well. I also purchased a bag of leaves at Hobby Lobby for 50% off. So for each of these items, there is a Dollar Tree substitute. Every once in a while, I like to buy Hobby Lobby supplies, but again, you can get similar items at Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to lay out some of these leaves how I like them. And I did try and do groups of 2, and I tried to keep the colors together like you see, kind of an ombre effect. And then I took some of those pieces of corn husk and I went ahead and tucked them on either side of my leaves there. So I kind of have the leaves going toward each other in 2 sections, as you can see, and I left a gap in the middle so that I could place a bow. Then glued down some pine cones, and those little pumpkins you see, there were 2 of those in the potpourri bag, and everything smelled so nice. As well as being a beautiful decoration, it also makes my home smell awesome. I took 2 oranges and placed one on either side. I took 2 cinnamon sticks, placing one on either side. Some of these cute little, I'm not quite sure what kind of nut they are, but however, and 2 little pieces of that wood on either side. And now I'm ready to create my bow. I am using some 50% off Hobby Lobby fall ribbon, but you could use Dollar Tree ribbon as well. I couldn't find any burlap, but I am creating quite a large bow, and I am just folding it over until I have 3 loops on either side like so. And once I'm done with that, I trim off the excess, and I'm going to cut another long strip to act as my tails. Once I have everything ready, I'm going to take a piece of twine and bunching everything together with my fingers. I just checked there to make sure that I had the middle. I'm going to tie everything with that twine very tightly, and then I'm going to flip it over, tug it tight, and tie it again. I will trim off the excess, and then my bow is ready to attach to my wreath. I just give it a little fluffing, pulling those little loops apart. Oh, and I do dovetail my ends for a boutique finish by just folding the end in half and cutting a triangle upward. I am then going to, and I did misspeak. I said that I trimmed off the excess twine, and I did not for this one. I just normally do. I left it on for this one because I wanted to use that twine to tie around my wreath form, and that way I would not have to secure it with hot glue. But you could if you don't feel comfortable tying it. I then placed one more piece of orange that I had in the potpourri bag in the middle of my bow, and here is what it looks like. So beautiful. If you did decide to use a smaller wreath form, you could cover the entire thing, but I thought this looks awesome in my very large entry area. Please let me know what you think about this wreath down below in the comment section. For our next idea, we're finally going to use that bag of tiny corn that I showed you from Hobby Lobby, and it was 50% off, so it was quite reasonable. But if you want to stick to Dollar Tree, they do have some larger corns that you could use. I'm taking this Dollar Tree wreath form, and I'm going to wrap it entirely in this burlap ribbon, which again, Dollar Tree carries a burlap ribbon. I'm just using a Hobby Lobby one, but I just glue it down, wrap it around, glue down the end, and cut off the excess. And then I am just going to be kind of sectioning off my my corn by color. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down kind of 2 and then staggering slightly 2 more of my yellow until I have my 6 yellow ones on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my kind of oranger ones and glue them down 2 by 2. At that point, I'm going to stop and I'm going to loop a hanger around the top of my wreath before that area gets covered up. And then I'm going to glue down a couple more of those orangey corns, and I'm going to glue down 6 of my little purple corns there. I do go ahead and glue down another yellow corn, just filling it out. But once I'm all the way done going around with the corn, I'm going to go back to some of those corn husks that I had purchased from Hobby Lobby. I am going to place some along the sides going in the same direction, and a couple on top of the corn, kind of just tucked here and there where I think it looks pretty. And here is a super easy, a really quick DIY that I feel like just screams fall and is so beautiful. Please let me know what you think about it. Okay guys, here is another idea to go with that gorgeous wreath in my entryway. I created a little garland. So I purchased this plain garland at Hobby Lobby, 50% off of $13.99. It has a hanger on either end. Now Dollar Tree does have a lot of leaf florals, and they even have small garlands that you could attach together. I'm then going back to the same spool of burlap ribbon that I have been using throughout this whole video, and I'm cutting several strips. Every few inches, just wherever I like it, I'm going to tie a strip of the burlap on, and then I'm going to dovetail those ends by just cutting a triangle upward. Again, I'm just going to do this all the way down my garland every few inches, just repetitively to help fill my garland out, and also to kind of give some more fullness, fluffiness, and a little bit more space to glue things onto. So once that is all done, I am then going to come back in with some of these zip ties, as I did not want to put a whole bunch of glue on this garland, so I am going to zip tie on these pine cones that were in my potpourri bag that I used on the beautiful garland I created. So I'm literally just placing the zip tie under the garland, placing a pine cone on top of the garland, going around the pine cone as tight as possible, and cutting off the excess. I did try to alternate the colors of my pine cones, as some of them are more orangey. But again, you can find pretty much all of these things at Dollar Tree as a substitute. I'm just taking a few more pieces of that potpourri and gluing them here and there on top of my little burlap pieces. And here is a super pretty customized garland that I think looks lovely with my wreath. But again, you could customize it any way you like and make it even fuller if you wanted to. Okay guys, here is another idea. This adorable little fall ladder that I made using Dollar Tree items. So I began with this little ladder from Dollar Tree. It had the word home on it and some greenery. I accidentally lost the clip where I removed that, but I simply just broke those pieces off. Then I grabbed these little letters with beads on them from Dollar Tree, and I cut the letters off. I couldn't find the letters for fall, so I just grabbed the other letters, whatever I could find. I only found the A, but then I'm going to cut all these leaves off, and I'm going to save all of the beads for a separate DIY. Dollar Tree also does sell an 8-pack of leaves that are a little bit smaller and thinner that you could use if you wanted to and didn't need the beads. Once that is done, I'm going to take these leaves and I'm going to glue one onto each section of the ladder, and I do put them at slightly different angles. I just apply some glue wherever they are touching the ladder, and I do make sure that the letters are toward the back because I am going to place my own letters on there. So once that is done, I am going to paint or color my leaves with some Waverly Antique Wax and a baby wipe. I'm just going to rub the antique wax on and then rub it off so that my leaves have a darker appearance than my ladder. Then once that is all done, I can go ahead and and start customizing this. So it is very customizable. You can decorate it any way you like. I think it is so pretty. I'm going to put a little tiny twine shoelace bow at the top of each leaf to cover the hole. Then I'm going to take this pretty little piece of burlap that I had taken off my potpourri bag and cut it in half to make 2 strips. I'm just going to alternate that with some corn husk and tie it with some twine to form a bow, but any bow would be adorable on here. I attach my bow to the top corner and put a couple pieces of leaf on either side, just kind of in the middle of those layers. Then I add a little shoelace twine bow on top of my bow, and I just used some Dollar Tree rub-on transfers to spell out FALL, but you could use Cricut, you could hand letter, or you could use any type of adhesive sticker from Dollar Tree. They have a lot of options for letters, but this is just what I chose to do, and I think it looks really cute. Please let me know what you think. And for our last idea, this adorable, quick and easy little grateful pumpkin. So I took these 2 little crates from Dollar Tree and I just removed the stickers at the bottom. I am going to be gluing my crates together, opening to opening, so that I have a nice one piece. So here is that. Then once I have my piece all together, I'm going to stain it with my Waverly Antique Wax by rubbing it on and rubbing it off with a baby wipe. Once my pumpkin is stained completely with the Waverly Antique Wax, again, the fun time can begin embellishing and decorating. So I'm going to add a Jenga block to that top middle there with some hot glue as my stem. And then I'm just going to go around the Jenga block base several times with some jute twine. I just wrap it around a few times. I glue down the end and trim off the excess. Then once that is done, I'm going to come in with some of these leaves, and I'm just going to cut these leaves down into smaller pieces as they are quite large. Again, these are Hobby Lobby leaves. Dollar Tree leaves aren't quite that big, so just depending on the leaf size that you use, you may or may not want to cut it down. I am then using some piece of corn husk, and I am just kind of tearing those down to size and gluing those on either side. Now here you will see that I use one of those little leather luggage tags from Dollar Tree, and I glue it to the top. You're going to see later in the video that this grateful leaf moves down my pumpkin to the front. I just did not like how it was sticking out at the top here. So I tie a little shoestring bow around my little stem or my Jenga block with some twine and trim off those tails. Then I'm going to put a leaf going down the side of my pumpkin, and here is where I move that grateful tag to go right on top of that yellow leaf. I then add a couple more leaves to the top of the pumpkin to fill it out. Fill it in with a little bit more of this corn husk. For some of the longer pieces of corn husk, I kind of twist them in the middle to double them over and then glue them down. I add a couple leaves wherever I think is necessary, a little bit more corn husk. So I really did decorate this a lot. I filled it out quite a bit. If you want to be minimal, you absolutely don't have to. I just think that it looks perfect for me and my decor. So here is what it looks like. Kind of an adorable little pumpkin having a bad hair day. I can absolutely relate to this pumpkin, so I feel like we are connected on that level. Please tell me I am not alone, you guys. But anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Here's a last minute look at everything that we made. Please let me know down in the comments what your favorite was. Please don't forget to check out our playlist and our hosts and co-hosts. And take care, friends. I will see you very soon. Stay blessed and safe.
You can subscribe to my mom's channel. And thank you for watching today's craft and stay safe.